First of all, I wanted to thank you for breaking up all the monotony I deal with. I spend most of my time on TikTok telling Christians that they're worshiping God wrong. So it's really nice to finally get into it with an atheist. For those that weren't privy to our conversation, you said there are a lot of different religious books. What makes the Bible different? And I'm glad you asked. When looking into religious texts, we need to look at the validity of it and how it came into being. The Bible is really unique in that aspect, and I'm not even talking about the Apocrypha, which is also valid and also points to our Creator. I'm talking about just the 66-book Bible. When we look at other religious texts, you're going to start to see a pattern emerge. The Vedas, one person. The Tipitaka, one person. The Quran, one person. Scientology, one person. Mormonism, one person. Are you starting to see a pattern? If you look at just about every religious text on the planet, they all came into being in a very short amount of time, and less than a handful of people participated in the making of it. When it comes to the Bible, we don't see that. There are at least 40 different authors that were on at least 2 different continents, that spoke in at least 3 different languages, all telling the same story of the same God. And of course men had to write it. You already don't believe in God. What do you think? If somebody was like, oh, the Bible came floating out of heaven to me, you're going to believe that? No, of course you're not. That's why God used men. We also see another thing in the Bible that you don't get with any other religious text. Scientific backing, archaeological backing, geological backing, anthropological backing. There are over 200 historical sites in the Bible that have been found perfectly accurate. For instance, in the Torah, the Exodus account, it describes God coming down and speaking to Moses in front of millions of people and giving them the Torah. He came down in a cloud of fire. Guess what? We found Mount Sinai. It's in the middle of Saudi Arabia, on the perfect path the Israelites would have taken from Egypt to Israel. And the entire top of it is burned black. And there's no foliage that grows there, and it's not a volcano. Not to mention at the bottom, the 12 pillars that were described in the Bible were found. Also a giant altar with calf carvings in it, perfectly described. I mean, and that's just one of many. We found the Rock of Horeb, we found Noah's Ark. They found a pillar buried in the sand on the shore of the Red Sea from King Solomon, commemorating the Red Sea crossing. When divers went down there, they found a bunch of skulls and weapons and chariot wheels. People aren't allowed to free dive down there anymore. Not to mention there's more proof Jesus existed than anyone else in antiquity.